Welcome to another Kings of War battle report. Abyssals versus the Kingdoms of Men. 1995 points. The scenario was loot. Alright, so this game was the Kingdoms of Men against the Abyssals. The Kingdoms of Men had Basilean allies. They started off with a foot guard horde with the pipes and Indomitable Will. 2 spear phalanx regiments, both with the pikes upgrade. 2 knight regiments, both with Indomitable Will, and one of them had Caterpillar and the other one had Strider. 2 bowman regiments, 2 mounted scout troops, a wizard with Fireball, Bane Chant, and Heal. They had allies, which was a paladin knight regiment, and the Halohi. So just my comments on the list. I liked it. At 1995 points, it's hard to pile enough stuff in there to really make a super good list. The thing I don't like is I don't like allies, and I've said it before. It's not because of the person. It's just that I think that you should have to stick within the army that you have, and I think that there's plenty of tools in the Kingdoms of Men army without using allies. But like I said, each to his own. I just personally don't like it. Okay, this is the same Abyssal list I've been using. Hate to even read it again since I've used it so many battle reports in a row. A horde of lower Abyssals with 2-handed weapons and imps. 2 Abyssal Guard regiments with imps, and one of them had the Mace of Crushing. A Gargoyle troop. 2 hordes of Molochs, one with the Champion upgrade and one with imps, but imps on both, I'm sorry. A regiment of Tortured Souls. 2 Imp Swarms regiments. An Abyssal Champion with the Blade of Slashing, Wings upgrade, and Lightning Bolt 5. An Abyssal Warlock with Bane Chant, Veil of Shadows, and the Conjuring Staff. And last but not least, Baal. Okay, well, I've liked this list a lot. It's going to have to go through some sort of change. These scenarios where you have to take things are killing me. So I don't know what to swap out. I do have some a horde of ghouls here. The models for them are already painted up, and might swap in some of those just to give me some unit strength and some more flexibility. So don't really know what to do yet. I'm contemplating it, but I mean, it's playing well. It's just not. It's just I think it has not enough fast combat stuff. So I'll just have to look through my through the list and through my box of models and see what I can come up with that will work a little bit. All right, Janner moved forward in a massive show of unit strength, surging across the table. He did manage 3 wounds to my one of my imp units up at the top from his archers, but that was really it. So this turn is just a typical first turn with not a whole lot happening. Right, this is actually Janner's turn 2. I forgot to take a picture of mine, it looks like. So anyway, you can see that he's moved forward very aggressively on the left with all of his cavalry. His Elohi guy had killed my gargoyles on a charge. I was just using them to shelter my flank, so I didn't really care if I lost them. But now that opened him up to a charge from my Tortured Souls, so that should help the cause a lot. You can see we've actually adjusted the size of the cavalry because they were too big, so now they're down to troop size. He charged his other unit of scouts into my little unit of imps. He did 5 wounds to them, but they managed to hold. Everything else just moved up very aggressively, and then I was going to have to figure out what to do with this whole deal. So let's see what my turn 2 looked like. So over on the left flank, I did charge my Molochs into and destroy his scout unit that's over there. The made a mistake then. I backed up into the woods, and I forgot that he had the potion. He either had Strider or Caterpillar. I shouldn't have done that. I should have just moved a dice 6 inches forward to him, just took what was coming to me from that unit of knights, because they were going to do it regardless of what I did. So that was one of the big mistakes of the game. Matter of fact, I would say it probably is what made the game go the other way so quickly. My Tortured Souls managed to ground his Elohi up there, which was nice. And I did come back in with the imp melee over there on the right-hand side, and went ahead and destroyed that unit of scouts with my Abyssal Guard. So turn 3 was a genuine disaster for a lot of my stuff. Over on the left-hand side, he did manage a flank charge into my Molochs, and that was my mistake. I mean, he made it by the slimmest of margins, but he made it. That's the point. And of course, they were erased. The Elohi sat there and had beat on my tortured souls, but only did 2 wounds. So again, I'm still okay over there. Up in the middle, his horses had charged. One of his horse units had charged into my Abyssal Guard. His pikemen charged into the flank of my imps, and the another unit of bowmen charged into the flank of my other unit of imps that actually has the objective. Objective right now. So some shooting did some wounds to his pikemen down in the water. I think that was from the magic user, so that was good. I mean, my shooting is at least doing a couple of wounds a turn, which is really all you can ask it to do. But obviously the Molochs were dead. The Abyssal Guard held remarkably, and then of course the imps died a horrible death from being charged in the flank by a regiment of pikemen. So the imps on the right-hand side had taken some more wounds, but had managed to survive yet again. Those guys are some hardy little guys, but their retribution will be coming toward some of these units. So over on the left side, the tortured souls managed to keep the Elohi grounded, which was a big thing for me. His horsemen, his knights, I think there was Basilean knights, had charged in. I'd held, I think I'd taken a lot of wounds, didn't really generate that many back, but that opened his flank up for Baal to have his way with them and do what Baal does, and it's just kill stuff. The unit of archers on the right-hand side were killed by the Abyssal Guard, and I went ahead and charged his pikemen in the water, which I know sounds stupid. I should have done it soon. If I'd have done it 2 turns earlier, or a turn earlier, I would already had them dead and then turned toward the battle in the middle. But I just vacillated about it because of hitting on 5s. But you have 18 swings, and their morale isn't all that great. So I mean, it was going to take 2 turns no matter what, since they were pikemen. So I should have just went ahead and done it earlier. Another mistake, but more of a minor mistake than a major mistake there. So anyway, I've got the middle looking pretty crowded. I don't know what's going to happen now. But over on the far left, I forgot my Abyssal Champion is just standing behind that unit of knights and dinging it. He's done 2 wounds to it already. And we'll have to see what happens in the next turn. So Janner got tired of my tortured souls holding up his angel, and so he charged them in the rear with a unit of knights, and that, of course, killed them very easily. He moved his other unit of knights down around the little house that's there. His ASB moved toward the middle. And then he made a massive charge into my lower Abyssals. And believe it or not, they held, even though I took 15 points of damage. But I had some inspiring stuff there, so that was going to help him out. His pikemen down at the bottom were wavered, so they didn't get to do anything. They just stood there ready to die on the next turn. So now my left flank is gone except for one little dude. And again, all my fault, all my mistakes over there. Just got to see how I can get the right flank, and there's that objective in the middle, and it's standing right in front of my demon. I don't know if I want to get out there this early in the game, but at some point in time, something's got to get out there and take care of that objective. So on my turn 4, I ended up countercharging the foot guard, and so I had to slide over, and of course that exposed my flank to nastiness. My Abyssal Guard was turned toward his flank and was ready to try to kill them the next turn. The imps just went around the woods to try to get aimed at the magic user, and but the magic user basically this turn died because I went ahead and backed up on the hill with the Baal and fried him with a 7-dice lightning bolt. The Molochs in the bottom corner went ahead and finished off the pikemen and was turning toward the flank of the foot guard. Over on the far left, my little aspiring champion managed to waver his knights with a lucky dice roll, so that was kind of cool. My Abyssal Guard is standing on the hill next to the demon. He was up. He has got back to 5 points through regeneration, and so the game was coming down to the end. I don't know what's going to happen at this point. I mean, it was really tight. So the red unit of knights is moving toward the objective. The unit of pikemen and his Elohi went ahead and dual charged the Abyssal Guard, and this time they died, even though they survived a much worse charge earlier in the game. So that was not good for me. And then over on the big foot guard unit actually went ahead and killed my lower Abyssals. He got Bane Chan on him this time and rolled really, really well and popped the rest of them off. So they were, I rolled really well in the regeneration, so it wasn't like 100% that it was going to happen. But anyway, they're still going to be in trouble with the Molochs and the other Abyssal Guard unit and potentially the Baal charging into their flank. But I really wasn't going to take a chance with Baal charging into the flank because I thought I had enough stuff. I mean, they're up to 12 wounds. And so we'll just have to see what happens in my turn. But I mean, you can see the fortunate thing over here on the left side that the Blue Knights can't move this turn because they're recovering from being wavered by the. So on my turn, the most disastrous thing happened. It was when I double charged his great swords. I think I got them up to 23 wounds and then rolled Snake Eyes. I really needed to clear that unit and then overrun further on to try to get to the middle to at least contest it. So there I am with all those points just stuck and doing nothing. The fortunate thing is up in the upper side, the Baal had moved out and fired a 7-die lightning bolt, and the champion as well, and wavered the Red Knights for a turn. So while one thing went bad, the other thing went good. So again, the game is way still in play. I mean, I have Baal that can swoop in. I have a last turn, which is always key for me in these games to try to recover. When you're trying to grab these objectives, and my magic and wavering units and getting lucky has just really kept me going. Otherwise, I'd be those knights would be all over me by now. All right, I'm pretty sure this is my turn 6. In the middle, Baal went ahead and charged the Elohi and managed to kill him with a couple of good dice rolls, even though he was inspired. But now, of course, Baal was going to die horribly. But if the game ended on turn 6, I had 2 objectives. One of them the magic user had, or the warlock, over on the other side, and the other the Baal had. I'm sorry. And so if it's turn 6 and dice run right, I actually won the game. But is there going to be a turn 7? And unfortunately for me, there was. So yes, we rolled a turn 7, and this is just the final position. Of course, Baal died to like a dual flank charge from those knights. There was really nothing I could do about it. On my turn, I did charge the pikeman in the flank, made no difference. Charged the magic, the battle standing bearer, made no difference. I just moved it to show you the final position of the battle. But in the end, what got me was a 50-50 dice roll, because turn 6 I win, turn 7 I lose, and that's the way the game went. Great game, Janner. I had a tremendous amount of fun playing you since it was our first time doing so. So this is my after-action review of the battle. A couple of things happened. One on the left flank. That was another mistake with my Molochs. Letting me get flank charged. I mean, I don't know if I could have held a front charge from the Knights with my inspiring champion over there. There's probably a pretty good chance that would have happened, but I don't know for sure. But getting flank charged, they were done. But I mean, there was no reason to have backed up. I should have just moved forward in his face and made him charge those guys, and I just took my chances because I did have my inspiring champion there. I also had. Of course, the Molochs themselves, if they would have survived the roll, they would have regenerated, should have killed the Knights probably pretty easily, and then kept contesting the game over on the left side. But giving up on the left side really hurt my cause. And over on the right side, I I was kind of a wuss with my Molochs. I should have went ahead and just charged the pikemen and not worried about it. I mean, they're a regiment. They're not a horde of pikemen. And so, I mean, over 2 turns, I would have easily killed them. So that was stupid over there as well. Rest of the army actually performed fairly well. I mean, some of my I remember rolling really well on some spells, but then rolling like all ones to wound. So I mean, that happens. It's not that big a deal. The real turning point of the game was there being a turn 7. On turn 6, I'd played it, the way I wanted to play it to win the game, which was to swoop in on the last turn and pick up the objective and hopefully win. But dice turned against me there, and that was bad. The other time the dice were really impactful, I should say, is when I failed to kill his foot guard in 1 turn, because if I'd have killed them, had some moving over it, I might have been able to charge whoever killed Bale and take one of the tokens back. Didn't happen. So in the end, well played game. I mean, it was tight. I mean, neither one of us, it was so tight. And I don't think that Janner made any mistakes at all. And I know I made at least a couple of tragic ones. But I'm going to have to restructure my army list a little bit. I got to have another fighting unit. I mean, I've got the 2 units of Molochs, and the Abyssal Guards do just fine. But I would like to have another faster unit. Maybe this time, use some Abyssal Cavalry and add them in there, so I have that other potential heavy block in the army. And a good suggestion from the online crowd was just if I keep losing on these objective things, is start to take 3 Abyssal Warlocks. They're only 90 points apiece. They have a unit strength. They got Lightning Bolt 5 essentially, and that would really help, especially against the high chaff guys. I mean, having in this case in my army, I would have 22 dice worth of Lightning Bolt, which should be able to clear out some chaff, I would think, just with average dice rolling. And I may change that. I'm going to change the list a little bit. I'm not totally displeased with it. I've just got to find a way to win these objective games, because it seems like every time I roll one, I lose. And just don't have enough. I mean, I have probably enough unit strength, but these other armies just have way more unit strength. So I'm going to have to do something to equal out the balance with my list. As far as Janner's list, I mean, I loved everything in the list. The only thing I don't like, and I say it to anybody, is I don't like somebody playing with allies. But allies didn't beat me. I mean, I just lost again, just like yesterday when I had the other battle report. I just plain lost this game. Was outplayed. He made no mistakes, and I mean, some of the times I was just blind lucky to keep things like the Elohi, keep him grounded for as long as he did, because it could have had a really big impact on the game. And at the end, he did. I mean, he ran down there to do the same thing I was going to do on turn 6, which is make me have to charge and kill his Elohi in one go to get the middle objective. And I did it. I mean, I rolled really well and rolled the double morale to kill him. And that plan absolutely worked. And of course, though, that made me have to get, if there was a turn 7, I was screwed, because I had to have to stay there and was going to catch it in the flank. Or it didn't matter if it caught in the flank or the front. There was going to be 30-something attacks hitting on 3s and wounding on anything. So, like I said, it didn't really matter in the end. But anyway, great game, Janner. It's the first time I got to play. I have played your brother before, and you say that you got revenge for him. Let's just say it that way. Say it in a nice fashion. So take care. Looking forward to playing again.